Let's begin. How many of you have received an inheritance or know someone who has? How many of you can't even imagine an inheritance because of your limits growing up or the conditions currently surrounding you? As a young child, I never knew what the word inheritance meant. As I got older, I thought only people who got an inheritance were those who had money and had their life together. That certainly was not the case for me and my family. No one had anything they could pass on, and everyone lived from one day to the next, wondering how to make ends meet. It felt more like survival in many ways. I started to see the world much differently as an adult. There were people who not only were not just surviving, but had an abundance. At first, I thought these people must have been born rich. I figured they must know people or have some secret formula I was not smart enough or privileged enough to have. But I still thought they really had it together, and I was curious. I began taking a lot of courses from financial to self-help to mental health. And I went to weekend seminars and had lunch with what some people would call famous people. But nothing seemed to fit everyone. But there were definitely some common things about abundant people who followed these worldly formulas, like depression, emptiness, frustrations, and loneliness. They often also had a high drive to succeed and get more and be the best, according to society at least. But exhausted from trying to make it all work myself and fitting into someone else's mold, I spent some quiet time in nature and meditation and received the most foundational message to live by from Spirit. A message that changed everything, which I will share with you now if you're listening. If you're listening, say, I got this. Okay, here's the message. The moment we breathed life, we were given the right to have abundance. The moment we breathed life, we were given the right to have abundance. I think I cried for a straight hour when I truly felt and understood this message. How could little old me from a small town have that right from birth? But there was more, and I discovered in John 10:10 that Jesus said he came so that we may have life and may have it abundantly. I learned your inheritance is not based on where you're from or who you know. Though we came in at different times, different sexes, speaking different languages, and having many different families and beliefs, our birthright for abundance and prosperity was instantly inherited. I learned your inheritance goes beyond the material. God's inheritance for us can come in the form of healing, can come in the form of new relationships and new opportunities. Your inheritance is never limited by material things. This was a game changer. No longer was anyone restricted from inheritance, but it also meant that no one had to live in survival mode. The unlimited inheritance of God was available to me and you and everyone who believes and put their trust in something bigger than themselves. So now let me ask you again. How many of you have received an inheritance or know someone who has? Does that word inheritance have a different meaning to you now? Do you believe that God, your creator, the universe, something bigger than yourself, at your birth, provided you with an abundance, and it is your natural birthright? Do you believe this? If you want to believe it, or even if you already do, I challenge you to try something in your life today that will show you proof of your birthright and the inheritance of abundance that's yours. First, I want you to allow your inheritance to come from unexpected places. Be open to the way Spirit provides your inheritance. Friends, family, co-workers, even complete strangers can open doors and bring unexpected blessings to you. When you see these blessings, write them down, even the smallest, from someone giving you a parking space to miracles like you having the only power in the neighborhood after a storm. I've seen so many blessings go unnoticed by people chasing the next best thing, but I invite you to take a moment and be grateful for all the things that are abundant, beautiful, and amazing in your life. Now, Spirit accelerates those who acknowledge their birthright. When you receive any part of your inheritance, give thanks and glorify Spirit from the heart. By communicating your blessings, you build on your relationship with Spirit and let the universe know you are worthy and ready for more. As you grow, your understanding of everyone's natural birthright and inheritance can inspire them to claim theirs. Share your testimony and walk your talk. And, of course, imagine how the world could change in people's lives everywhere for the positive, knowing this message.